Culture is one of those things that holds communities together. It bonds people. It brings people out together to enjoy things in common.
Culture comes from the imagination, from living socially, from wanting something more of the world.
Culture totally defines who I am. It's got a value system attached to it. It's got a certain level of pride attached to it. It's got all of these beautiful elements.
It's love, it's friends, it's family, and we all respect each other.
Cultural activity encompasses arts, heritage, multiculturalism, as well as an ever-growing diversity shaped by First Nations and Métis peoples, and many others that come from other countries who call Saskatchewan home. SaskCulture was formed as a non-profit organization in 1997 to help unite the various areas of cultural activity that were flourishing throughout the province.
SaskCulture as an organization was formed to serve the people of Saskatchewan, to make sure that lottery dollars in this province were going to be accessible to people of Saskatchewan for cultural activity, and to ensure that cultural activity has its rightful place within the mainstream of activities and things that are happening within the province.
Some people hear our name and assume we are part of government, but we're actually a non-profit, volunteer-driven cultural organization that works with over 140 member groups and various individual members. These member organizations reach out to a network of over 150,000 members of their own. Thanks to the Saskatchewan Lotteries fundraiser, SaskCulture is able to distribute millions of dollars to cultural groups throughout the province each year. Profits from every ticket sold in Saskatchewan go into the Saskatchewan Lotteries Trust Fund for sport, culture, and recreation. All dollars stay in the province, supporting over 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation beneficiary groups. 35% of all proceeds go to support culture in Saskatchewan.
I certainly hope that the Lottery Trust Fund continues to grow and we continue to be supported by this. This is very important.
To keep this funding source growing, it is extremely important that all recipient groups understand and recognize their funders, SaskCulture and Saskatchewan Lotteries, in their promotions. Funding from the Saskatchewan Lotteries Trust Fund supports culture in Saskatchewan in many different ways. Cultural groups from anywhere in the province can apply to a variety of grant programs for funding to help support cultural programs and services. To be eligible for a grant, you must be a non-profit cultural organization, or a First Nations or Métis group, or a municipality. Applying for a grant starts with an idea, but it also requires a plan, one that addresses the grant criteria, a target group, who will participate, a budget, which includes all confirmed and pending funding sources, and a reasonable estimate of how much funding is needed for success. SaskCulture staff are available to answer questions and help align your project with the right funding program.
They make sure that the proposal is sound, it's ready for adjudication, and that the concept of the project is fully conceptualized before proceeding.
SaskCulture grants are adjudicated by trained volunteer juries. Volunteers are key to this system.
My role as a funding juror is to look at each and every application and carefully consider if the project has value for the community and it's realistic and it can meet its objectives.
Yet, SaskCulture is more than just a funder. Spreading the love for cultural activity is another rewarding part of our work. In 2010, SaskCulture took the lead in launching Culture Days in Saskatchewan as part of a cross-Canada initiative designed to engage residents with the cultural life in their communities.
We live in communities, but we don't always know what's happening in our communities. And this weekend is an opportunity to get out there and connect with your community.
It is an opportunity for cultural groups to invite people into their spaces, encourage them to try interactive cultural activities free of charge, which will hopefully build an ongoing interest.
I think with Culture Days, what it does is it brings people together. We need to remind ourselves why we are as unique as we are, why we do the things we do, why it's important to share those things.
Culture Days is celebrated the last week of September every year. With over 50 Saskatchewan communities participating, it has helped groups promote culture beyond 3 days to 365 days a year.
I look at the faces of the various cultures in our community, all getting together to celebrate with pride who they are.
Cultural activity is an important part of our lives, and no one should be left out. That is where Creative Kids comes in.
Our vision for Creative Kids is that all children in Saskatchewan will be able to participate in arts and cultural activities free from any financial barriers. We've been able to provide funding now to over 3,000 kids in the province to participate in arts and cultural activities in the province.
And because SaskCulture covers all the administration costs, 100% of all donations go straight to the kids.
We've now funded to more than $1 million in the province. So the story, each time I tell a story, it just gets better.
SaskCulture is also working with its partners to build a more inclusive Saskatchewan, where people from all backgrounds are aware and have access to cultural activities in their communities.
Right now, we're working on a whole initiative around cultural diversity to make sure that our organizations and the groups that we fund are inclusive and accessible to people of Saskatchewan, whether they're younger Aboriginal people that maybe haven't participated, or whether it's the newcomers that are coming into our province.
Coming from another province, seeing how everybody knows something about their culture, about where they came from, I really think that comes partly from SaskCulture, from that support of the culture and arts industry here in Saskatchewan. And I think that is unique in Saskatchewan.
SaskCulture is also committed to nurturing a learning environment where cultural leaders are able to expand their thinking for the future through professional development, skills training, one-on-one consultation, and networking with peers.
SaskCulture is really trying to take on a leadership role and a supportive role.
At the heart of keeping culture thriving in Saskatchewan is a vast network of more than 11,000 people employed in culture, and thousands upon thousands more who volunteer.
When I'm asked to commit the time, I do that because I see value in what the organizations are trying to do. By being there, I believe I can contribute to giving something to the community.
Along with our volunteers, we are committed to helping Saskatchewan people lead creative lives and build creative communities.
If people are able to fully experience it and engage with culture, it creates quality of life, it creates happiness, it helps with creation and invention and just overall engagement with other people.
SaskCulture and Saskatchewan Lotteries are working to build communities by supporting thousands of community-based cultural programs and services each year.
There's no way to define culture. It's everything and it's everywhere and it's important.
Culture is an integral part of everyone's life and it enriches the community for everyone.
Communities are successful when they have a sense of what that community is and what it's about.
By working together, we all benefit. Culture builds community.